Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast, and good evening to those of you in Europe. Welcome to our Saturday morning new distributor training. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with Zija International, and it's my privilege to be your host this morning. Got a very exciting lineup for today. I want to welcome all of you, both those of you that are existing distributors. You're going to greatly benefit from today's training in terms of an outline for you to provide for your new distributors. But in particular, I want to welcome those of you that are brand new to Zija. And there may even be some of you that have been invited to kind of take a look at what it is we do to support our team in the field. This morning, I'm going to give an outline of how to get off to a fast start, how to start developing your Zija business. And for those of you that are on my email list or plugged in with me on Facebook, you saw the announcement for today's training, and it was kind of designed to encourage you to tune in. I made the comment that our focus today would be on one of the most important skills that every top performer, every top income earner in Zija has already mastered. And then I put in the little teaser, hint, anybody can do this. And that's really the focus, is that the things that I'm going to share with you are things that I learned personally many years ago. Some of you have heard my story. Back in the mid-'80s, I was a cross-country truck driver. I was a much younger man. My son was hitting school age, had a lot of educational deficits that were going to require some specialized educational resources. And it was going to be left to me to provide them. The school district was not going to provide those resources. And so I found myself in a position as a blue-collar guy, needing to make substantially more money than a truck driver makes, and also to be able to have time freedom to be with my son as he was growing. That was going to be a critical component of doing what I think all parents desire to do, which is to enable their children to become everything that they can become. That was my responsibility, my chosen path. And while at that stage in my life, there was no companies out there that were recruiting me to offer me six-figure jobs, six-figure annual income with a flexible schedule, but network marketing did offer that promise. And I was very fortunate in that first company. Two things. Number one, my personal sponsor in that first company was already $1 million earner. So I had an opportunity not only to be exposed to how the professionals build with this business model, this distribution model of network marketing. I got to work directly with somebody that had already done it. Secondly, the company that I was with has historically been known to provide some of the finest training in this profession that's ever existed. And so everything that we do here in Zija, everything that I've done in Zija is an outcome from that original, first 2 years with that first company. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you that outline. I'm going to talk about that, one of the most important skill sets to master to become a high producer. We'll wrap this up with some question and answers. And then before the top of the hour, I'm going to take a little break, check in on what's going on behind, that door there, see how mom's doing. Then we're going to come right back right at the top of the hour. That'll be 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and we'll have a short team meeting. We like to do this. This is day one of period 141. I always think it's a great idea as a group for us to focus on the next 4 weeks of the Zija calendar, so we're all focusing and moving in the same direction for the benefit of everybody. So I encourage you to stay tuned with that. You can take a little break with me. Just leave your your Zoom webinar meeting going on your computer or your phone, or you can take a break and come back using the same login link. So let's start first of all with this concept. What we do in network marketing is not really very complicated, okay? Many of you have heard me say oftentimes, you know, the most difficult part of our business is finding the right company. That's, you know, many people have been out there that have been with companies that, you know, come and go, make lots of promises that they don't fulfill on. That's really the hardest part of our business, is to figure out what company to be with. Now, look at the numbers. Network marketing as a profession has been around, you know, probably going on 70 years now. In that time frame, there have been literally tens upon tens of thousands of companies come and go. And in that period of time, there have been literally just a couple of handfuls, maybe, you know, 24, maybe a few more companies that have stood the test of time. Hang on, I have a guest speaker here. Let me just do this real quick. Yes. Now, the industry, if you do the numbers, it's very difficult to figure out which of those, you know, tens of thousands of companies would have ended up being one of the 24 companies that would create a, you know, if you will, a legacy level of income. You know, if you look at some of the companies, like, for instance, you know, the Amway Corporation, you know, for close to 50 years now, that company has been providing ongoing residual income. There are people today that receive, you know, $1 million a year commission checks, and they weren't even in Amway. They're the children or the grandchildren of people that were there in the development of that company. And to know that, you know, you have the chance of finding the right company, you know, at the startup phase, it's going to continue to be that long-term company. I mean, you got a better chance of, you know, being struck by lightning than finding the right company in the early days. You know, struck by lightning on a Tuesday before noon. I mean, statistically, that's your chances. And so one of the things that happened to me, I was very fortunate. The first company I found, I just got lucky. Okay, I found a really good company that had really good training, and my sponsor was somebody that really already knew what to do. Now, it wasn't great timing with that company. Okay, that company was going through a slump in their growth, and frankly, I needed to make money right away. I didn't have what ended up being a 7-year cycle for that company to get back into the growth curve. I didn't have the 7 years to wait around, and so I went to a second company. That second company, I got in before the masses. I got in before the major growth curve, and I knew what to do, and then I did the doing part. And while that company never became as strong as the first company I was in. By the way, the first company I was in that I couldn't wait around for it to go through its inevitable cycles of growth, that company today has been in business 20, almost 40 years. Last year they did over $4 billion in sales for the year. It would have been the company that I would have wanted to stay with. However, I didn't have the time. I got wrong timing. Timing is critical in everything. The next company, great timing. Not necessarily the, you know, the greatest products in the world, and they had, you know, every company's got challenges. Okay, let's be realistic. There is no such thing as a perfect company. When I retired from the industry, I waited almost a decade before coming out of retirement to join this company, Zija International. And for those of you who've been around for a while, you've heard me talk about the critical ingredients to look for. You know, look for the corporate leadership, look for people that have experience, they've got a success track record, they've got integrity, look for the right kinds of products that are, you know, ideally first to market, category creator types of products. Look for products that are highly consumable. In a perfect world, products that are used every single day, reordered on a monthly basis. That keeps the ongoing revenue, if you will, sales volume through the compensation plan. But ultimately, the most important thing is the products have to really work. And that's really the key with Zija International. You can be very proud of the fact that you represent products that meet recognized needs. You don't have to convince people they need this. They're already looking for the products, and you can be very pleased to know that the people that use your products will get benefits. That is so much different than some of the other companies that are out there where the product is almost just an excuse to do business, and those companies don't tend to stick around very long. Now, timing, the other ingredient, and that's where we are today. You know, I've had the privilege of being part of this company now for 11 years, I believe it is. And over that period of time, I've seen a tremendous amount of growth, development, both in infrastructure, product diversification, compensation plan enhancement, the development of the corporate team, and so on. All these things have come together at this point in time to create a tremendous opportunity, in particular for those of you that are just getting started. So what I want to do is give you the advantage that I had when I hit my second company after 2 years in the industry. While it was not a company like Zija, okay, it did not have the caliber of products that Zija had. It doesn't have the compensation plan that Zija had. It certainly didn't have a lot of the positive components of the corporate team. But what it did have is timing. And because I already knew what to do, I was able to compress, probably, 70, 80, 90 years of truck driver income into 8 years. And the second thing I did is I didn't spend all the money. There's a clue there, by the way. You might want to write that in your notes. Don't spend all the money. And I was able to retire. I'm not saying I was rich, but I didn't have to work. And to me, that's real success, is to be able to do the things you want to do with the people you want to do and have the time to do it. Now, I'm going to go through this little outline real quickly because I want to be able to entertain some questions and answer type of situation. I encourage you to grab your journal or your notebook, whatever it is that you're using for your notes. If you haven't started that, start it today. Okay, start today accumulating the knowledge that you will gain over the period of your career in Zija. Now, first things first, as a brand new distributor, and this is part of my personal process, I always kind of use a very simple 3-step process. As I'm prospecting a new distributor, first step is to get in. Okay, get some of the company's products, make a decision to start your business. Okay, sign up, get into the genealogy. Step 2, get trained. That's what we're going to do right now. Step 3, get going. I like to do a little get going meeting where we actually take a little bit of time to talk about long-term goals, then the short-term goals that we need to accomplish to achieve the long-term goals, to set up a game plan, if you will, the daily method of operation to accomplish those goals. And so the very first thing of that get going meeting is to make a commitment. Make a decision as to what you want from your Zija business. And I've always, this is something I learned a long, long time ago. This little phrase, you should write this in your notes. Start with the end in mind. Okay, start with the end in mind. Because if you start with a short-term focus, then you're never going to get the results that somebody would get that starts with a long-term focus. When I started in network marketing, my focus, started with the end in mind. The end was to create a lifestyle where I had the financial resources to provide for my son and the time freedom necessary to be with him. Okay, that was my long-term focus. That was the goal. It wasn't to jump in, see how it would work, and if it worked out really well, put in a little bit more time. Okay, guess what kind of results you get from that kind of focus? It's kind of like, oh, we just had our first little baby. It's cute and giggly, and we'll hang on to it for a little while and see how it goes. And if the little baby really does well, we'll keep it. That's not how you do that. Getting married, right? You don't say, hey, well, let's get married and see how it goes. After a few months, if it works out well, we'll stay married. Most people understand that concept when it comes to those important issues. But for some reason, when one starts their network marketing business, the focus seems to change. It's, well, let me get going. Let's see how it works out. If it works out good, I'm going to go ahead and keep doing it. I'll put more time in. You need to start with the end in mind. Let me tell you what one of the real problems is, okay? Real simple. if you were going to start your very first business and you had to, accumulate, $200,000 or $300,000 to get started. And by the way, that's not a huge amount of money to start a business. Okay, the average McDonald's franchise is $1 million plus for one burger restaurant. So if you had to accumulate $200,000 or $300,000 to get your business started, I guarantee you, your attitude wouldn't be, hey, we'll get the little shop going and open it up on Monday and let's see how it goes. And if it takes off, we'll keep doing it. No, your focus would be to create an empire, okay, to create a business that would be long-term. It would never occur to you to quit that business after a week or a month or a year. That's our biggest problem in network marketing. It is a business that can be an incredibly powerful source of income, but people take it like a hobby. Most people spend more money on golf clubs than you can spend to get into Zija. Most people spend more money on a hotel room for the weekend than it takes to get involved in their Zija business. And that's probably the biggest problem we have now. So first thing, make a decision. Commit to what you're doing. Now, whatever it is you commit to is fine. If your commitment is to create, if your long-term goal is to create a home-based business where you can generate an extra $200 or $300 a week, an extra $1,000 a month, that extra $10,000 or $15,000 a year, that for most families in America, for 80% of the families in America, that extra $10,000 or $15,000 a year would be a game changer. If that's your goal, that's a great goal. Commit to it, do it, stay with it until it happens. If your goals are to create a full-time income, make the $50,000 or $100,000 a year, so you can support your family, live your life, and do it under your own terms, then commit to that. Okay, it will take longer, but commit to that. When I made a decision to start with Zija International, I'm going to be real candid with you. Okay, I'm not suggesting this is the goal that you should have, but it was the correct goal for me. The day I started in Zija, the day I used my credit card to buy the the Builder Premium package, the big package we have now, the day I started, my commitment was to do Zija until I'd made $1 million. Okay, it wasn't if it went well or how long I was going to take. I was going to do it until I hit that goal. Now, the goal's been surpassed many times since then. The point I'm trying to make here is, had my decision been to start and do Zija for a while, I might never have met the goal. Okay, I would have stopped somewhere along the way. And the reason is, there's always going to be challenges between the time that you start and the time that you hit the goal. Okay, the question is, will you continue? So number one, make a commitment, make a decision, focus on the long term. Okay, start with the end in mind. Okay, number two, be armed with the knowledge that's necessary to achieve the goal. Okay, and this is the outline, if you will, for the new distributor training. First things you want to do, and I'm assuming you have no knowledge of network marketing, and let me kind of preface this. Everybody thinks they know what we do, because everybody's had, your mom did Mary Kay, your aunt did Tupperware, your uncle did Amway, whatever. Everybody thinks they know what we do. Oh yeah, that's that deal where you sell products to your friends and family, and you sign up your friends and family, and they can do the same thing. I get it. I know all about network marketing. I'm sorry, you don't. It's, to me, this is just common sense. Okay, how many of you have driven a car? Okay, well, you know how to drive a vehicle with 4 wheels. Some of you have driven RVs. They got 6 wheels. Some of you have driven a pickup truck with a trailer, so now you know how to drive trucks with trailers. I'm telling you right now, you do not know how to drive an 18-wheeler. Okay, you don't. You have to learn how to do that. It sounds like it's the same thing. It sounds like it'd be similar. Anybody who's got a CDL that's run 80,000 pounds of freight down the road knows that just because you can drive a four-wheeler doesn't mean you can drive an 18-wheeler, period. It seems like you might be, that it does, but you don't. Okay, so regardless of, and here's the other thing, for those of you that have been involved in network marketing, if you haven't made, you know, $10,000 a month in network marketing in your previous network marketing careers, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do at the same level that a six-figure income earner does. So be coachable, right? Be willing to learn the process. Now, brand new distributor just getting started, here's the first thing you need to really understand. What do we really do and how do we do it? Now, I'm going to be able to teach you that in 10 seconds. Watch. Give me a second here. I want you to go to this website, www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija /playlists. Used to spend a lot of time in the old days teaching these things. What I've done is I've created a YouTube channel. I've put that link there will take you to my YouTube channel, and then specifically to a playlist tab, which has a series of little training videos on it. Very first one's 30 minutes long. It's what we do and how we do it. And I encourage you not to just listen to that video once. Listen to it over and over till you can teach it. What I share there is what I heard every single Saturday morning for 2 years in my very first company. I mastered this. Don't for 1 second think that you can watch, you know, one replay of that video and you've mastered it. Watch it until you can teach it. I can teach it now. Okay, that's mastering that. So first step, learn what it is we do and how we do it. The how we do it is the system. The closer you follow the system of presentation, invitation, presentation, and validation, the more successful you're going to be. Now, the next step is to get into the actual details of how to start and build a successful network marketing business. First thing you're going to want to do is to learn how to develop a prospect list. Because see, most people go, oh, I already get it. You know, I talk to my friends and family. Well, yeah, you start there, but that's not all there is to it. If that's all there is to it, I'm going to tell you right now, nobody'd ever be successful in network marketing. And quite candidly, for most of you, your closest friends and family, they're not the ones you're looking for. Okay, be clear on this. They are not the ones that you're looking for. In today's world, after 34 years in this industry, while a few of my closest friends and family members are customers, the vast majority of them have nothing to do with my business, the first one, the second one, or the third one, either as consumers or distributors. As a matter of fact, most of my closest friends and family were not particularly very supportive when I started. Interestingly enough, that group of friends I had 30 years ago, while they weren't particularly supportive, some of them were outright nasty about it. They have no problem going out to a fancy dinner with me and letting me pick up the tab. They've got no problem borrowing money from me. Isn't that interesting how 30 years ago they were not supportive? Today they're more than happy to let me pick up the tab for dinner and to call on me to borrow money. Isn't that interesting? Now, there's a lot more to developing your potential prospect list. And I can teach you that, but I won't do it here. I want you to go to that link that I just put into the chat box, go to the playlist, and pick up or watch one of the 3 additional 10-minute videos on how to develop a prospect list. Then, next item, understand what you need to do to develop your Zija story. And here it doesn't make sense, but you're just going to have to buy my story. One of the most important, most professional things that you can do as a successful network marketer is develop your Zija story. So much of our business is counterintuitive. Successful business owners think, oh, it's all about spreadsheets and, demographics and, product sales projections and inventory control and all this detailed stuff that go way beyond me. Most complicated thing we do is learning how to do the same thing over and over again. Building your story will be the most important thing that you can do for your long-term success. The day I started Zija, because this was my third network marketing company, I already knew that. My number one goal, period, number one goal was to create my Zija story. And my Zija story was very simple. I got involved with this company because I was looking to be part of a lifelong opportunity that can bless many and be able to do it part-time from home as I care for my mom. I started with the biggest package we got, our Builder Premium system. I put together my game plan, and in my first week, I got 6 customers. By the end of the second week, I had 3 additional distributors. They bought the big package like I did. And within the first 2 weeks, I made $1,700 and paid off the credit card that I used to start my business. I was in profit in 2 weeks. That's my Zija story. Now, understand the story's gone well beyond that since then. But quite frankly, nobody cares how much money I'm making now unless I'm giving it to them. What they want to know is, what did I do my first day, my first week, my first month to get off to a fast start? Building your story will follow you the rest of your Zija career. Finally, to create that fast start, there's an additional 10-minute video on that playlist called the 90-day game plan. The 90-day game plan is where I'm going to launch to right now, because the 90-day game plan is just a mental game that we play focusing on a relatively short period of time, into the future, that we can put focused efforts to create success, okay, to create a success story, a 90-day game plan. And let me tell you the power of a 90-day game plan, because again, I already knew this. When I launched my business in January of 2008, I had a 90-day game plan in place. That first 90 days, I worked my 90-day game plan. At the end of the 90 days, I started a second 90-day game plan. At the end of June 30th, I started a third 90-day game plan. And at the end of October 31st or September 30th, I did another 90-day game plan. I did 4 90-day game plans back to back in that first year. And so that you don't think this is something that's not possible for you, I did it part-time from home around the schedule that I needed to care for my mother. The end of that those 4 90-day game plans, I created a full-time income from my part-time Zija business. Now, it wasn't huge. It was, truck driver income, but it was a full-time income that, half this country lives off of. Now, the second year, December 31st, end of 2008, I closed the books on 2008. I did everything that I could to make 2008 great. I opened up the books January 1, 2009, and I committed to 4 more back-to-back game plans. By the end of that, end of 2009, I had 8 back-to-back 90-day game plans. My income went into 6 figures for that year. I did it one more time. Closed the books at the end of 2009, opened up January 1, 2010. 4 more 90-day game plans back to back, and that third year in Zija was more than double the first 2 years combined, and it put me into the top 1% of income earners in the country. And I'm not saying that to impress you, okay? You should not be impressed with me. You should expect I'm going to do well, because I've already done this before. But what you need to embrace is that everything I did is exactly what I did as a brand new distributor 30 years ago. It's exactly what every brand new distributor can do, so long as you're willing to work, willing to learn, and have a burning desire to succeed. Real simple. I mean, by the end of the third year, the monthly income surpass the entire year in the first year. There's a compounding effect that takes place. Too many people quit long before they get traction in their business, and if they get some traction, after a year, they quit before they get true momentum in the second year. And even if they get true momentum in the second year, they quit before they get the actual significant return on that time investment. Now, the 90-day game plan is really a one-day game plan for 90 days. A one-day game plan for 90 days. Now, I'm going to give you the secret. Okay, the secret to success as a top network marketer. And there's a couple of them, okay? But I think every network marketer that's achieved, extraordinary high-level success will agree with this. It all comes down to the doing part, what we call DMO, daily method of operation. So you have to appreciate the fact that there is a big difference between employee mentality, which is what most of us are. I mean, contrary to popular belief, there was a time in my life I had a job. Okay, I used to work for the county. That didn't work out real good. We had a little difference of opinion on when I should start working and when I should work and what I should do. But that's another story. So yeah, but I did work for the county. It didn't work out real well, which I think is okay, probably for them and for me. But having a daily method of operation is typically something that is imposed upon employees. And the concept of developing a daily method of operation is something that is required of employers. Okay, here's the problem. In the real world, 95% of the people work for the 5%. 95% of the population knows when to show up for work. They know exactly what to do once they get there. They know exactly when to take their breaks. They know exactly when to go home, and they know exactly when to return to work. Okay, and they don't really even have to monitor their results because their employers are monitoring it, and annually, or if you first started after 90 days, you're going to have an employee evaluation, or maybe after a year you get an annual evaluation, and the employer monitors your results to tell you how you're doing, where you need to improve, or whatever. Now, business owners have to develop that for themselves. They have to determine when they open up the shop. They have to identify what products they're going to be selling, where are the highest profit margins. At the end of the day, they have to analyze the results. They have to do, the sales reports, figure out how much money came in, what stock products need to be restocked. They have to do the scheduling. They have to do all of that. It's called self-employment mentality. And it's not a skill that's taught to the masses, but it's certainly not a skill that is hard to develop. Okay, and I'm going to give you a short little outline on how to develop your own daily method of operation within the time that's available to you for your Zija business. And if you can master this one thing, and you can apply it consistently on a daily basis, if you do it for 90 days, I guarantee you it will change your business forever. If you do it for 2 90-day game plans in a row, you will start to establish some momentum. Do it for 4 90-day game plans in a row, and it is inevitable that you will have some very good traction in your business. What does traction mean? Something that's sticking. If your tires are spinning, you get no traction. But if you have traction, you're moving forward. I did 12 90-day game plans. Now, that's extraordinary. I'm going to tell you right now, most people will not do that. Okay, I didn't work 80 hours a week. Honestly, I'm not sure I've ever worked even 20 hours in a week in my Zija business because of the other things in my life that require my time. Certainly not these days. Okay, however, most people will not do that, not because they can't, but because they won't. And you have to be very clear on this. It's a choice. okay, I guarantee you, no matter how many people have told you, oh, I don't want to buy your product, or I don't want to sign up in your business, I've had more people do that for me, to me. Yeah, I don't care how many people, how many distributors you signed up to quit. I've had more. Okay, that's the difference between my paycheck and the people that wish they had. I did not, 36 months set up the rest of my life with Zija. And the next 36 months is going to magnify that 3, 4, 5 fold, because I ain't going to miss what's happening over the next 36 months in Zija. Now, daily method of operation, put this in your notes. Something I learned from Jim Rohn many, many years ago. It's the concept of celebrate or fix. Start out the night before, okay? Ideally, shortly before bedtime, take a couple of minutes, grab your journal, and write down 5 or 6 things that you can do that will materially impact your business. Here you got to be focused on correct activities. So what are the correct activities? You'll learn this from the first new distributor training video that I suggested. Here's the 3 things we do. We share our product, we share our opportunity, and we teach others to do the same. So you might want to put on your list, you're going to contact Mary Lou about, sharing maybe the Intune Square with her. You're going to contact, Bobby about introducing him to the concept of your business. And you might follow up on your new customer or your new distributor. So there's 3 things right there. Now, what are some other things that you can do? Well, one of the things you need to do, it's got to be part of everybody's daily method of operation. It is part of my daily method of operation every single day. You got to include personal development or skill sets development. So you need to allocate time, make a specific item. Maybe you're going to take 15 minutes and listen to the next 15 minutes of Jim Rohn's, hour-long presentation, How to Build Your Network Marketing Distributorship. Read one more chapter in Don Fala's book, The 45-Second Presentation. For those of you that have started doing some of this process, maybe read one more chapter, in James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh. Personal development and skill sets development. Example, personal development, that would be James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh. Skill sets development, that would be a chapter in Don Fala's book, the 45-second presentation. So there's another item. What else do you need to do? You need to be plugged in, okay? Make a commitment, whether it be to attend a live webinar. Maybe you're fortunate enough in your local community that you got a local Zija group. Meet with your local Zija group. Most people don't have that. Review one of the recorded presentations available on YouTube. So 5 or 6 things that will make a material impact on your business. Correct activities, things that will be positive for your business. By the way, designing your personal website, designing your business cards, putting together flyers, none of that stuff counts, okay? That's not income producing. Share the product, share the opportunity, teach others to do the same. Personal development or skill sets development, plugging into the system, meaning being around other Zija distributors and information, whether that be on your Upline Diamonds, weekly meeting call or what have you. One of these Zoom meetings, Pat Anderson's Wednesday night product webinar, Health Talks with Pat, whatever it is. Now, once you've noted in writing those specific activities, the second step is to schedule them. Go to your calendar, your day timer, whatever you use, and physically calendar when that'll happen. I'm going to call Mary on the way to work. I'm going to follow up on Bobby, during my lunch break. After the kids go to bed, I'm going to review the, last week's Saturday morning new distributor training webinar with Fred Holmes. Whatever it is, but specifically allocate the time that you will do those activities. For most people, this is a business of 5, 10, 12, 15 hours a week. Okay, whatever it is that you've committed to, Break that down into, 15 to 30-minute increments. You spend 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes during the day, 30 minutes after dinner. That's 90 minutes. You accumulate that over a period of a week, you've got 10, 12 hours already invested in your Zija business, doing correct activities. Now, once you have it calendared, you go to sleep. You wake up the next morning and you work your plan. Do the things you said you were going to do when you said you were going to do them. At the end of the day, you're going to repeat, but you're going to put one more step in there. You're going to analyze your numbers. You're going to evaluate your results. This is critical. Every successful business owner has to do that. And this can be the tough part, because now you're going to have to evaluate yourself. Did you make that phone call to share the product? Did you make that phone call to share the opportunity? Did you follow up on that customer or that new distributor? Did you, invest that 15, 20, 30 minutes, ideally in the morning, for personal development or skill sets development? Did you plug in to an event, include it, which counts, allocate time in the evening to watch the Pat Anderson product presentation that you missed because you couldn't watch it at the time that she did it live? Evaluate your results. And one of two things are going to happen. Either you are going to say, to yourself, you were successful. I did each one of the items that I had allocated to do that day, and I did it within the time. Or you won't. Okay, it's what Jim Rohn calls the concept of celebrate or fix. Either celebrate your success, and the recommendation is it should be something meaningful, tangible, and involve activity. For me, every time I accomplish my goals, at the end of the evening, I jump up and I do the dance. Oh yeah, I did it. Oh yeah, I did it. 10, 15 seconds. It's dancing, which I love. By the way, I'm not a very good dancer. Just gonna tell you, okay? I know it, all right? I'm not a good dancer, but I love dancing, right? So I do the dance. It's physical, it's meaningful to me, it's tangible, it's a celebration. Here's the other thing that's gonna happen. You didn't accomplish what you said you were going to do. So you got to fix that. Now, this is the easy part. The fix part is always going to come down to one of two things. Either you overestimated what you could accomplish within the time that you had allocated. For instance, you got a 30-minute lunch break, and what you put on your to-do list was, I'm going to make 15 calls to potential customers during my lunch break. That's going to be hard to do, okay? That's just going to be really hard to do. So either you overestimated what you could accomplish within the time frame that you had allotted, or here's the other thing that caused you not to succeed. You failed to follow your schedule. You were going to call, Bobby during your lunch break, introduce your business to her, and just as you were about to start your lunch break, friends came over and said, hey, we never get to see you anymore, you're always so busy, come out, do lunch with us, let's go have a burger, blah 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 blah, come on, and you blew off the item that you had said you were going to do for your business to go out with your friends. Now, here's the problem with that. As an independent business owner, you're the boss, and you can choose to do whatever you want to do. If your employer had said, during this time frame, you're going to make this phone call, and you didn't do it, you could potentially be fired. Now, nobody's going to fire you for not following through with the things you commit to doing for your Zija business. You just won't succeed. That's all. And so you either celebrate your success, you accomplish the things you set out to do today, or you fix the problem. And the problem is always going to be either overestimating what you could accomplish in the time that you allotted, or you failed to follow your schedule. Once you've analyzed and fixed or celebrated, then you repeat what you did the day before. One more time, commit to writing 5 or 6 things that are going to make a difference in your business, then calendar them, then go to sleep. You're only talking maybe 15 minutes maybe 15 minutes each evening before you go to bed. Here's what I'll guarantee you. Do it for 30 days and it'll start to be a habit, and you're going to start to get some results. Do it for 90 days and you will establish momentum in your business. Do it for another 90 days, you will start to advance that business. Do it for 4 90-day game plans, commit to the year, and at the end of the year, I will guarantee you, you will have meaningful results in your business. So I went a little bit over my allotted time. What I'm going to do, and this is, unfortunate, I am going to hold off questions and answers. You may have questions. I want to make sure that I answer those questions, but this is, I've got 10 minutes before the top of the hour. I am going to stop for the moment. You're welcome just to stay on. I'll have some background music for you, okay? The Dances with Beaches soundtrack. I will be back right at the top of the hour. I have a couple of announcements. I have a guest speaker. I will be happy to field all questions that you have within the timeline that I have committed to that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pause for now. Welcome to stay on, and we'll be right back here in 10 minutes. And let's see here. Great info, Fred, 90-day game plan. Kate, you are somebody who has really focused on consistency of effort, and you're getting the results from it. Thank you for that comment. All right, so we'll go ahead and shut down for now. I'll look forward to seeing you guys at the top of the hour, and we'll do our team-wide meeting and answer any questions you may have. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you shortly. All right.
Battery 100%. Connected to Fred Zija.
Vibes. My mommy, she dey give me prayer. Every night she know they sleep, she dey send me blessing. Hey, and my puppy, he dey give me ginger. You know the man, he sent me to school, I turned to a singer. Oh.